what's happening on this cold 1st of May? It's 8th. Well, what's the holiday?
Workers' Day.
So shout out to all the workers out there if you're working.
Mandala, indeed. Hope you guys are having a good one. I have no idea what episode number this is, but we keep it moving.
But this weather is not weathering, my dog.
Oh yeah, no, the weather's cuck. It's raining. It's cloudy.
Yeah, quite gloomy and doomy out in Cape Town, but it's
you know what? It's winter, and
these things happen.
It leans into cuddle time, you know. Instead of being out here in these streets, just stay at home, have some cuddles. The purpose of this particular podcast is that we really want to drive through a really, really big question. All right, so the thinking, the idea, the action plan is right now on this video. We are going to be asking the big question. So it was my birthday last week on the 24th of April. Yay!
Happy birthday, bud.
Thank you.
Sorry, you're now like 49.
Oh, you didn't know?
Sorry, you're like 49 now.
It's because I've got 1-2 gray hairs. I'm 49 all of a sudden.
No, it's just that I've heard squeaks in the joints, but like, you know, I just needed to get a sense. So
squeaks in the joint. Listen here. Listen.
I'm just saying.
First of all, let's make an assessment here.
Hey, bro, I'm on hiatus.
Then you're hibernating because it's winter.
I'm on hiatus. No, I'm not hibernating.
It's like
I'm on hiatus. There's a difference.
It's dropped below 20.
I'm still eating smart. Okay, let me live. I'm still eating smart. I'm still eating in a deficit. I'm just not changing. I'm in a hiatus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, continue.
So you've got the engine on, but you're not.
Yeah, we idling at the moment. We're just idling.
Let's move on.
Okay, anyway.
Because I'm just like, hey. No.
So
anyway, yes.
For context, so T called me one day randomly.
Yes.
He's like, Kyle, we need you to just break this tie here. We need you to break this tie. So I was like, all right, shoot, what you got for me, boy? I got you. So T's like, Mr. Kane, I'm chilling with wifey here. We in a debate. She wants to know, and I would like to know.
We want to know.
Who is the leader? Whomst is the leader of the Avengers?
Question. All right, and this is a very serious question, eh?
Yes, it is.
Because there's everyone, not say everyone, there are certain individuals within the Avengers team. And for context again, let's talk about the Avengers up to and including Endgame.
Yes.
Any other movie thereafter, irrelevant. We're only looking at phases 1 to 4, 5?
5. I think it's 5.
Yeah. Up until Endgame. So up from Iron Man 1.
Iron Man 1.
And to the end of Endgame.
And every movie in between. Every movie in between.
Now, obviously when it comes to the Avengers, they are a team.
Yes.
And when you have a team, generally, there's a leader in the team.
Generally.
Now, the question stems from the fact that within the Avengers, I would probably say half of those guys could put their hands up and say, I'm a leader. You know? Black Widow could put her hand up to say, I'm a leader. Okay, definitely not Hulk. Iron Man can. Thor can. Captain America can. Who else? Vision, to a degree, maybe.
Personally, I would say Vision.
I think it's because he is powerful and intellectual. Is that for me? That's what it is. So you'd be like, I'm taking charge because I'm stronger than most of you guys. Plus, you know, I'm smart and yeah.
I mean, actually, ChatGPT on steroids but okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%. He is.
Okay. No, for sure.
Yeah. Don't judge. I almost said don't judge the man. What do you call him?
A sentient being.
So I'm in my head. I'm like, wait. In WandaVision, didn't he make himself look human?
You know, I didn't actually finish WandaVision.
My bro.
What? Was it good?
WandaVision. Here's the thing, because we were talking about slow burns earlier.
Yes.
WandaVision is one of those slow burns. Like I'd probably say the first half of the WandaVision series.
First
is
half. Isn't there like 10 episodes? No, there's like 8.
I don't know. I probably want to say 8. Yeah.
8 to 10.
Because literally the last 2-3 episodes is where the real action happens. But the first bulk of
So you're
it
telling me
is
the
a
first, okay, on average, you tell me the first 5 episodes is a slope. You tell me the first 5 episodes is a world build.
Yes,
wait,
actually, yeah.
Wait,
Because
and then how long is the episode? Please tell me it's half an hour episodes. Because if it's 40-minute episodes of slow burns,
I don't know. You know why? I'm gonna say 30 minutes because the whole structure of WandaVision is that they styled it to a 1960s or 1970s comedy show series.
I'm with you.
Like a sitcom.
What's that? Lucy, I'm home. That era.
I have no idea what that is, but I'll say yes.
Hey,
so
come up
it's
with pop culture, my boy. Yeah.
Me, I'm like, this is my box. I like my box.
I get you though. The 1950s, 1960s feel.
So my assumption would be it's like 30-minute episodes.
Okay.
Could be more. I mean, Marvel likes doing long things, whatever. But yes,
pause. Pause. Marvel likes doing long things. Is crazy. Pause. Like, just pause.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
WandaVision.
Vision could potentially be. Wanda, we know she's off for rocks, so that can't happen. Yeah, I would say within the team, there's probably like those four people there who could put their hand up and say, "I'm the leader." But we want to know who's that one person. Who's that person that we can say? I almost said something, but person who is our leader. What do we do now? Who's that person who can rein everyone in and say,
For me, it's Tony Stark. For me, it's Tony Stark. And
Nonsense.
I do feel a lot of people will agree with me that Tony Stark is the leader of the Avengers.
State your case.
Yo, Flip, where would you like me to start?
From the beginning.
Well, where do you want me to start?
Start from the beginning.
Let's talk about the fact that okay, look, firstly, I'm not taking anything away from Captain America. Let me also make the comments that I made when we had that phone call, right? The comments that I made was they were a dual leadership in Avengers, right? Because each of them brought their own elements to things, right? But for me, Tony Stark just edged out Steve Rogers because of the way
money.
he does. Okay, it's the money. Look, the money is number one. The money is number one.
Money does not make you a leader. Because I asked the same question to my colleagues at work, and everyone was like, not everyone. I'd say most people are like, Tony Stark because he's smart and he has money.
Because he's smart, and he did come up with like strategic plays. He came up with the ultimate play for Infinity War.
Explain.
I am.
No, he didn't come up with the ultimate. He came up with a solution on how to get there. He did not say, guys, this is the plan.
Bro.
Not semantics.
Come on.
Not semantics. Okay.
So what are you trying to tell me?
Wait.
What are you trying to tell me? So remember Endgame now. Remember Endgame.
Start there, yes.
That's where I'm going. That's where I'm going.
Okay, yeah, carry on. So
remember now in Endgame, once they realized that Ant-Man had the concept that
the
Avengers.
Who was they with they?
Wait, man. I'm talking about...
Where was Tony?
Tony was still in space.
Huh?
No, he wasn't in space. He was back. No, he was back. Yeah, no, he was back. He was living out in the wilderness.
He was playing Happy Family, right?
He was playing Happy Family.
It was nice. Yay.
Yes, he was playing Happy Family. Okay? Cool. Sharp.
Yeah.
Now, what I'm saying to you is, it was now Tony that figured out that, oh shit, if we put markers now in this time and set it for another marker there, and he figured out that
how did we get there is the question.
How did we get there?
How did we get to the point where he started thinking about that? Because you're missing a whole plot.
No, but I understand that. But where I'm coming from is T. Let me tell you. All I'm trying to say is this is all I'm trying to say, T. At the end of the day, if it wasn't for Tony Stark figuring out how to time travel, the sequence of events after that wouldn't have happened, and the Avengers were gonna live their lives with the blip and not sort everything out.
He came with a solution. He did not come with the original plan. Hear me out. Okay.
I'll hear you out.
As you guys would have
I'm still saying Tony Stark is the leader.
Fine. As you guys would have figured
I'll give you more points.
Or rather, I don't think that Tony Stark is the leader of the Avengers.
Who do you think is the leader of the Avengers team?
The person who is the leader of the Avengers, the person who brings everyone together, the person who generally has the strategy, who knows how to lead, who knows how to, get the best out of everyone, is Captain America. And I'm going to use Endgame now, because Endgame, to your point, like I said, you're telling us this part of the story. There's a whole part before that story where the strategy, where everyone figured out that, hey guys, there's Infinity Stones, whatever. Shit, how are we gonna actually get them? Oh my goodness. Oh wait, let's maybe see if Tony can help us out there. They have a conversation. He's like, no, listen, I'm my baby daddy now. I'm gonna look after my kin. Out here in these woods. Yeehaw.
Yes.
It was a bit extra.
But that was a bit extra. Yeehaw wasn't that much.
But it planted that seed, and he was like, hey guys, if there's still Infinity Stones through space and time, whatever the case is, I'm smart enough and build the technology to actually get us there. Okay. So he came with the missing piece to the solution of the missing piece to allow the rest of the team, i.e. Captain America and them, who thought of the strategy when they rescued Ant-Man from what? Yeah? They rescued him. They said, what happened there? That's possible.
That means put himself out of the timer, but I get you.
What the rat did. The rat. Yeah. Then they like, okay, cool, guys. This is the game plan. We can do it, but we don't have the technology for it. The technology that we do have is small. It's the van. We can't use that. So who else can help us out? Tony. This is the plan.
Steve Rogers is the one that said.
Yes. Was it not? Was it not?
Bro, that's what I'm saying. I'm not disputing Steve Rogers and how pivotal he was for everything. I'm not disputing that.
He is the guy.
I'm not disputing.
Because even when everyone's together,
what I'm saying is Tony Stark always edged him. I tell you why.
No.
Let me tell you why.
You can't say because he's intelligent and he has the resources. That for me, that's what you're saying to this. And he was a smart guy who used his resources and did the things.
And then remember when they thought they lost the Tesseract?
Which one was this?
This was now when they were collecting the stones in Endgame. Remember when they lost the Tesseract?
When they went to the 60s to...
Yeah. Who thought of that shit? Who thought of going even further back?
No, it was Captain.
No, it was his time.
Wait,
yes, it was his time, but it was Stark. Yes, but it was Stark.
Why would Stark know that?
Because he hacked into S.H.I.E.L.D. He knows the company secrets, remember?
But then Cap was there at that time.
Yeah, but Cap wasn't sure though.
But even
Cap
that lady...
Sure, though. Cap didn't even think something.
Why would that lady have recognized him then when they went back into the 60s? Because she'd seen him, because he was there, because he knew. Oh, it was the PIM particles. No. That was the second part. The first part was to find the Tesseract. Cap knew that the Tesseract.
Remember they messed up with the Tesseract in New York.
Yes, then they messed up. Then Tony was like, to get PIM particles, and it just so happens that the
Tesseract as well in one shot.
It just so happened to be
still
at that time. Not that they were like
clutch. In a clutch. Tony came through in a clutch. Let me tell you another time Tony came through in a clutch. Can I tell you another time Tony came through in a clutch? Avengers 1, Tony came through in a clutch and he lifted that flipping nuclear bomb into space. Let me tell you another time Tony came through in a clutch. Can I tell you another time Tony came through in a clutch?
Wait, let's discuss one at a time. So, Avengers 1. Yes. Okay, right.
Yeah?
See, jog my memory here, but... Okay, so Avengers 1. How did everyone come together? Again. Do you remember?
Coulson's death. And Nick Fury driving everyone up, hyping everyone up after Coulson's death. If you think about it, that's how they actually came together.
Okay.
Because
Fine.
Initially, if you actually think about it, Nick Fury is actually the leader of the Avengers.
Oh, talk about
in the cinematic
okay.
sense.
Let's be clear.
I'm going off on a tangent.
The on-field captain. We're not talking about executive management. Like, hey guys, I pay your bills, type things. Hey, we're the results. No, the guy who's actually on the ground running things. Isn't like you, Carl. Go there. You there. You. Let's make it happen. You come with me.
Yeah, but that's your quarterback. Steve Rogers is a quarterback. But now we're talking the manager of the team.
Hi, we're not talking management, logistics, and man. We're talking about the guy on the ground.
We're talking about working managers
Thanos
here.
was there.
We're talking about working managers here, and that's Tony Stark.
When Thanos was there, where was Nick Fury?
Wasn't he had just come back from the snap? Remember?
Cool. But what I'm saying, on the ground, in context, there, with the team around him and the threat is right there, who's the person calling the plays? Captain America.
Yes, Captain America is calling the plays. But just because he's calling the plays doesn't make him the leader of the group.
He's the captain, pun intended.
No, but wait. Remember now, something you need to remember is that Captain America was also coming with this military teamwork type looking at, because he also was in charge of
as a leader.
He was also in charge because he was also in charge of the Howling Commandos, which was a small a shock elite group of soldiers back in the day that would go on these small missions.
Yeah.
Right. But he was only the leader because he was a soldier with the super soldier serum back in the day.
No. Okay.
We are talking about who's the leader of the Avengers.
Okay, wait.
I say it's Tony Stark.
Let's start here.
That's what I'm saying.
Where's your phone?
It's on me.
You've got interwebs, right?
Yeah.
Can you please ask Goku what are leadership qualities? Ask Goku. Ask Goku. You can even ask ChatGPT. It's fine. Leadership, Ewan, not shop.
Oh shit, my bad.
English. Here we go. Yeah. Qualities. Yes. What does it say? Go to that first list. From sources, communication, resilience, vision, accountability, creativity, delegation.
Communication. Tony Stark had everybody on the same WhatsApp group communicating.
Yeah, carry on. Resilience. He wasn't resilient until while everyone was trying to figure out after the snap what to do. What did Tony say? We'll be baby daddy. Was that resilience?
Yeah, because he found something that he cherished, that he wanted.
From
he was resilient in his resolve.
No,
that he didn't want to lose anything.
From scene 1 in Endgame was out here with the peoples, being resilient and trying to instill that resilience in other people. Everything is going to be okay.
Yeah, but the difference is that the difference with Cap is that something that's his strength, but it's also his weakness, is that he has that hero complex. So he tends to be loyal to a fault. You see, Captain America has this world peace state of mind, basically.
Which is exactly what you want, though.
It's not realistic.
Why is it not realistic?
Because it doesn't actually
if you have the power and the influence to be able to do it, which he did, and he does, why would that not be realistic? As one of the most powerful beings on Earth, if he's never tired and he's just running around in wars.
I tell you why it didn't work. I tell you why that ideal of his didn't work. If that ideal that he has or had or whatever during the arc, that ideal of a free America and whatever, perfect world peace, whatever, then we wouldn't have had civil war. If you think about what civil war is actually based on. Remember the
Civil War, yes, but Civil War, essentially, it was, I'm trying to remember now, it was either, guys, do we go out and do our own thing without being restricted by governments to say where we're gonna go. We're gonna go out there. If something bad's happening in Zimbabwe, we are gonna go in Zimbabwe, no questions asked. Versus the other ask was us, guys, we will tell you where to go because clearly wherever you go in your own ace, you guys like
because Captain America was too liberal.
It's not about being liberal. It's about, guys, the main objective here is peace and making sure everyone's secure. If that means by any means necessary, that's exactly what the hell he's going to do. But the crux of this is that Captain America, because he cares so deeply about what he does, what he wants to achieve with peace and all of that, he was not willing to be restricted by the Sokovia Accords to, if he sees something wrong's happening and they tell him you can't go,
he's going to go regardless.
Yeah, he didn't want that because that's what he wants, that freedom to be like, something's wrong, something's happening, so I'm going to go and address it.
I hear you.
You know?
And that's why for the most part, my thing was always that they were co-leaders. But because we were doing the pod specifically and somebody must take a side, I'm still going to take the side of Tony Stark.
What are the qualities? Because we're going down that list. We said resilience, sharp. Clearly, Tony was still there because he wanted to be...
Vision. Tony had the vision.
I'll give vision to Tony, especially when it comes to, if you look at Age of Ultron. Yeah. Age of Ultron, his whole thing was like, my vision is to protect peace.
The world. Yes.
I'm gonna build robots all the place, all that good stuff. All of that stuff. So I'll give him that. Captain's vision is very much like locked into,
because he has an old way of thinking.
100%. So I give
trapped in a thing for 70 years.
100%. I get that. Okay. Accountability.
That can go both ways because Tony Stark was already to take accountability if need be.
What?
But you see, that's the thing with Tony Stark is that he wouldn't ever need to take accountability if he already had a plan in place that he knew was going to work.
Age of Ultron?
Huh?
Age of Ultron?
What about Age of Ultron?
This is my plan. Suits around the world. The ultimate robot. That failed hard.
It still panned out though.
After all the traumas had to come and bail him out. Did he? He didn't. You know why? Because in Iron Man 3, he went sobbing and he was, oh, look at me. Oh, I'm going to eat donuts on the roof now. Oh my goodness. Oh, kid's going to steal my suit.
No. That was Iron Man 2, wasn't it? Was that 2 or 3? 2 or 3.
Okay. But yes, you get what I'm saying. There was
I'm with
that. He didn't take accountability.
Creativity, you have to give it to Tony Stark. You have to give that to Tony Stark. If you're looking at qualities of a leader, look, we should have actually opened this up sooner, actually.
Okay. Delegation, Cap. Straight up. I think every single mission, if you look at Avengers 1, who was the one who's calling the plays? Hulk, smash, you, go there, Hawkeye to the top. Okay, cool, Shep, you do this, hundreds.
Steve Rogers.
Natasha.
Steve Rogers is the quarterback. But
the captain.
No. Quarterback doesn't necessarily be the quarterback's not necessarily the captain.
I'm not saying because you're quarterback you're the captain.
Yeah,
what I'm saying is the guy who's delegating,
like you said,
calling the plays. Because he's the captain, he's delegating. Natasha,
you say
to the top.
When you say he's calling the plays, he's the quarterback. You almost
you are saying he's the quarterback. I'm not saying he's the quarterback. I'm saying he's the captain who's delegating roles and responsibilities to different people in the team. Avengers 1, Natasha Romanoff, go handle the portal.
But then a person. Yes, that was the point that I was trying to make.
Put yourself up there and start.
A person like Steve Rogers that has the experience that he has from being frozen all those years would naturally jump into a position like that in the clutch.
Why would it be natural?
Because he's a soldier.
He's a
soldier. At
the
end of the day,
Natasha isn't.
No, Natasha's an assassin.
Hawkeye isn't.
Okay, Hawkeye is also, but he's a special forces soldier. Okay, but he's also a soldier. Yeah, but Natasha's more of an assassin.
Potato.
Oh, different. And also, we've also seen that Hawkeye prefers to work alone. Also, so that sounds like he was also in some secret missions off on his own.
Winter Soldier?
Winter Soldier is also a covert agent as well.
Rhodey?
Rhodey's a soldier.
So why didn't he?
He's in the Air Force. He's not infantry. Rhodey was in the Air Force, so he was still working by himself. And so was Sam. I'm giving you facts.
They are soldiers, whether they're infantry, whatever, there are strategies and game plans that need to be thought of, they need to be implemented and executed.
And that's what Steve Rogers brought
regardless
to the
whether you're infantry or whatever.
That's what Steve Rogers brought to the team. I'm not taking anything away from that.
Delegating, because I know what your strengths are, I know what your weaknesses are, and all of that. Then I'm gonna, Bobs.
I'm not taking anything away from Steve Rogers. Firstly, I'm not taking anything away from him. But,
Yay!
But, what I'm saying is that because of Steve Rogers' worldly views that he had, and then he went into the ice cube, and then he came out, he was still in that mindset. Whereas Tony Stark was, I don't want to say more with the times. I don't want to say that. It's not that he was more with the times. It's just that because of his genius, because of his resources, because of how he was able to think of things in a clutch. That's why I feel that Tony Stark was the leader.
Yet.
Sorry.
Just open there. Again, nonsense. The shandies.
That's what I think.
Nonsense.
And that's what I think.
It's such a vague / general thing.
But he was, like I said, he's the one that ultimately stopped the Chitauri. Ultimately, it was him.
Again,
it was.
Can't say.
Okay, Age of Ultron was actually Vision that ultimately destroyed the thing.
Avengers 1.
Yeah.
Yes, he took the thing there because he was basically the only person who could fucking grab the thing and fly.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Especially, mind you, okay, let's look at the guys that could fly. Tony could fly. Thor could fly. Who else?
In Avengers 1.
Yeah. That's it.
It was just them three.
Who's the third one?
Thor,
Iron Man?
Thor and Iron Man. No, sorry. It was only two. Oh, okay. Avengers 1, yeah, there's only two.
Yeah. Out of those two, what was Thor doing?
Taking out the Leviathans.
Yes. He was standing on the tower. He was...
Yeah. And,
who? Yeah. Which only leaves Tony.
But Tony was also taking out the Leviathans as well. Fine. And calling plays. Tony was calling plays.
No. It was Hawkeye. He was calling plays in his ear to tell him to turn left, turn right, whatever. He's got people here, blah, blah, blah. It was Hawkeye.
Okay, cool. Fine. I'll give you that.
So, back to thingy.
Yes.
So, two people can fly. Thor, Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
Thor was busy on the top of the roof. So, he's busy. He's controlling that situation as much as he can.
Mm-hmm.
Which only leaves Iron Man with an incoming missile to go and intercept that and put it in the hole. So, we can't say he's a special person, whatever the case is. He was the only other option. If Vision was there, you know what Vision would have done? He would have phased in there, took it apart, whatever the case is, done. If there were more flying options, maybe someone else would have been able to take it.
No.
It wouldn't have been Tony.
No.
Okay, let's flip the roles. If Tony was the one who was managing the portal there, the hole and everything, guess who else was going to do it?
You know what Thor was going to do? You know what Thor was going to try and do? Thor was going to try and electrocute that flipping warhead, and then that was going to blow up the entire of New York because Thor wouldn't have, bro, because it's not Asgard.
At that point, you would know.
And he was warmongering. Remember?
They would have told him it's a nuke.
It was warmongering at that time as well. Thor. Bro, at the end of the day, whatever you want to say, whatever you understand, however you want to say it, whatever you understand, however you want to say it, all I'm telling you is Tony was your guy.
Now, carry on. We're still going through the don't skip all these other ones.
No, I'm looking at the list. List.
Okay, we'll go quickly.
Okay, cool.
Confidence. Integrity. You have to give it to Cap. Because Cap is the one person who's always going to do the right thing all the time.
I'll give it to Cap. I'll only give it to him because of his consistency.
Exactly.
Only because of his consistency.
Exactly. Tony only reached this point at the end of this Marvel phase because they had to build him up to like he's a bachelor, bad boy, wada. He was selfish.
And the best character development.
Fine, no, I'll give you that. But integrity, specifically, Cap. Next. Cool. Confidence. I'll give that to Tony. I'll give it to Tony.
Danko.
Like there's one or two moments where Cap like doubted himself. I'll doubt 100%.
Danko.
What else we have here?
Innovation.
Your finger's in the way. And I swear to God, I read ovulation. Like a split second, I was like, wait, what? That can't be a...
Yeah!
Okay,
let's just
pocket it. Okay, innovation.
Stock!
The only reason why you said it yourself is because Cap, his mindset is still very much in the 60s. So whatever was available to him at that time, that's all he knows. Versus Stark, who is a technologist essentially, who's created all these magical, wonderful things.
Go in here, Playboy. Sorry, I had to. No,
potato.
So yeah,
it's the only reason.
So innovation,
self-awareness.
I give that
Cap.
to Tony.
Nah,
Tony.
Okay, the question is, what do you consider
self-awareness?
What would you categorize in self-awareness? In what sense? In the sense that I'm a billionaire, playboy, philanthropist, wada, or the fact that I know that I'm a screw-up, or I know that, I need people around me, type of thing.
You know why I say self-awareness for Tony Stark? Because after his near-death experience in Iron Man 1, he changed. He realized that he needed to do better. And throughout the entire Avengers series, he constantly was trying to do better.
Really?
Yes.
Even that time when he walked out and he pissed in his suit. God, when he was really, really drunk.
Yeah, wait now.
And
let us not forget. Wait, hold up.
Wait a minute.
But now remember now, Tony was acting out because remember the US government wanted the Iron Man weapon apparently.
Sure.
And he was like, no, it's not a weapon. It's not a weapon. It's a prosthetic.
It's a high-tech prosthetic.
It's a high-tech prosthetic. And it's not a weapon.
Yeah.
So like they still sent one of his bros to come and take the suit from him.
Yeah.
So obviously he was gonna act out and be pissed off and whatever. Look, Rome wasn't built in a day. I'm not saying that after Iron Man 1 he did a full 360. They also kind of sort of pushed him.
100%. But
he still came back from that with that travesty of a Iron Man 3, because Iron Man 3
it's a bit hazy,
Iron Man 3 is a bit hazy.
I think a lot of people actually remember.
No, they didn't. But
if you guys remember Iron Man 3, please in the comments add your 2 cents of what you guys think in terms of the.
But that's why I'd say
the things here. I don't know. Don't know how to use these things. Okay.
But that's why I say self-awareness will go to Tony Stark. Why would you think it'll go to Steve Rogers?
It will go to Tony Stark because he eventually got there. Where I'm saying Steve Rogers was always self-aware as to who he is and what he's capable of, and the people around him as well. He always knew that he's a caring person, he's determined, he never gives up, all that stuff like that. And he's always had that in him. That wouldn't be a character arc for him unless at some point he flipped.
That's what I'm saying. So that's why I think Cap wasn't self-aware as more as he just had like a good compass or character. But again, one would base that off of the fact that he went into the cube for so long and and still came back with his traditional things back into the world.
But he was self-aware even back then, so it's just a continuation. Maybe if he had lived a normal life during those 60, 70 years when he was frozen, maybe his mindset would have changed.
No, he probably wouldn't have ended up like that. Like the black super soldier Bali. What was his name?
The black super soldier belly.
Yeah, the one in Falcon and the Hawk. I mean, Falcon and the Hawk.
Winter Soldier.
Falcon and Winter Soldier, and he was in Captain America 4. What's that Bali's name, man? Say his name. The first super soldier.
Oh yes. I want to say Elias.
Not Elijah.
Elijah. Yeah, him. The black guy.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Now I'm just thinking of that. If Captain America had lived out his days, almost similar to that, he would have actually had a different view of the world. If you think about it,
100%.
You'd have a different
his self-awareness would have been, not that it would have been tainted, but I almost feel like his self-awareness would have changed to say, listen, I am a super soldier. I have this power. I can use it for good as I've always done it, or I can use it for other means. Because I know no one could essentially stop me. Possibly.
I'm with
Possibly. You know?
Decision making. Give it
to both. Let's be fair on this one.
Okay.
They both can make decisions.
Okay.
Tony can make decisions. Whatever can make decisions.
Which brings me back to my point that they were more of a dual leader role. But again, Tony just edged him out by a nose.
Active listening.
Active listening.
As in like, hey guys, something's happening. What do you guys think? Oh yeah, okay.
But that goes to neither of them.
No, Cap.
Nah.
Cap.
Nah.
Because Tony's just like, in my mind, in my genius, or whatever the case is, this is the way, this is what I'm thinking. Anyone else wants to say anything, he's just like, shut up, you're stupid.
Nah, I think it was more a thing of Cap would like be on some, okay, I hear what you're saying, but check here, I got a more better traditional way, and I'm gonna convince you.
Captain.
Yeah.
Captain America.
I don't think Cap goes for. I don't have any right now. But active listening. Nah, dog. Nah.
Right now.
Nah, I don't think active listening.
Good case building there.
I can't give like an active listening thing for what you call.
Yeah.
Problem solving. Tony all day. Convince me otherwise.
On that one. Transparency.
50-50.
Transparency.
No, well that has to go to Cap. No, that has to go to Cap.
You know, Tony has done some under cheatings.
Transparency and again, the transparency will only go to Cap because he was buried.
I'm gonna skip these other ones because whatever. This one, respect.
Cap.
100%, obviously.
But I feel like traditional Tony is an OG.
No. Tony only earned his respect at the end of Endgame.
Yeah, with the sacrifice.
Exactly. Like I'm sure they respected him as an OG Avenger,
which brings me
but
to my
earned
closing statement.
Ultimate respect right at the end.
Which brings me to my closing statement. My closing statement.
Close then.
For why Tony Stark will be the leader. Or is the leader. Because Doctor Strange now said, right, Tony, check here. There's
I'm Doctor Strange.
I'm giving you context. I'm giving you context. Can I give you context?
Doctor Doom has not been seen in the MCU, so I'm just trying to figure out where he comes in on this. Yeah, continue-ish.
I'm giving you context, right? So, Doctor Strange said, Tony, there's 13 million something ways that this thing ends out. Doctor Strange. But we only have one play that wins everything.
Okay.
I can't tell you what this play is, but you're going to have to go with it. Right? Boom, boom, boom. Everything happens what it happens. And then Tony eventually does the snap and kills Thanos. No, everybody's brought back, kills Thanos. Do you not think that only like a leader would make that specific play, knowing very well it would mean their demise? I feel, this is me, wait, hold on. I feel Cap will try and save everybody and still try and keep himself alive so he can go back to Peggy. Because remember, if you think about it, throughout the entire Avengers series, Cap was always missing his timeline.
Pause.
Only a leader will make the kind of play that Tony Stark made. Only a leader would follow blindly. Like, not follow blindly, sorry, that's the wrong terminology. Only a leader would, like, take that upon himself and be like, you know what? In a clutch, I got everybody. In a clutch.
So.
And he came through in a clutch. Even though in Avengers 1, Steve Rogers said to Tony Stark when they were arguing, Tony, you're not that guy. You're not the guy to make the play. You're not the guy to crawl over the...
Yes, because why? Because Captain is that guy. Captain America is that guy. If Captain America had the opportunity, he definitely would have done it. If I may.
Okay, no, so, sorry. Yeah, but I made my closing statement.
So you brought up the Doctor Strange. Shandy is telling him 14 million and 35. I'm sure it was 38, but anyway, 17 million some change.
Yeah.
You only have one play, whatever the case is. Point number one: seed planted. That was the seed that was planted. He said, Tony, there's only one way that we win this. So Tony's just like, okay, cool. Eventually, when we get to that point, there's going to be a certain play that needs to happen. Banked. Sharp. We get now to in-game. The fight is happening. If I remember clearly, chat, comments, people, please correct me if I'm wrong here. Did Doctor Strange not do his thing and pull a...
What?
Like a, this is it moment?
Yeah.
So that obviously then triggered this thing to Tony, because even he's seen his face, he's like, oh, okay, this is it. I guess I gotta do it then. So it didn't come from within that he wants to, that he wants to do this. It's because the seed was already planted to say, hey, listen, something needs to happen at that point for us to win. And at that point, when Stephen Strange sort of signaled to him and say, hey, this is it.
This is
Tony then clicks saying, oh, okay, I guess it is what it is. And then only. So we can't say now Tony's the leader because he made the sacrifice play. That idea was already planted. If that idea was not planted in him already, would he have still made the same decision? And Stephen Strange also saying, hey, this is it. Would he have still made the same decision?
But he said it was the play. No, but he said it was the play. But he said it was the play. But he said it was the one play. And you know what? Tony Stark said, you know what? If this is what we're doing, then we're doing.
Yeah, but
let's do it.
But that was not a decision that he said, hey, like I'm seeing the opportunity right now and I'm gonna take it.
But the point,
it was prompted.
But the point I'm trying to make is that Steve Rogers said that Tony's not the guy to make the difficult plays.
That was in the beginning.
But he made the difficult play though.
Because he was prompted to. If Stephen Strange did not plant that seed to say, hey, we only have one chance. And then at a later point when the thing was happening saying, this is it, would he have still made that decision?
And why did Doctor Strange also put it in Tony's hands? Tony could have also said, no, I don't want to make that play.
Exactly. What is it? Because when the stakes are that high, irregardless of where you sit, what your thoughts are, whatever the case is, you're trying to save the universe. Literally. That is a small sacrifice to do that. But again, if Doctor Strange did not say, hey, Chom, this is it.
What did Steve Rogers do after Tony made that sacrifice?
He went and...
He ran back to the Sentinels 70 years back.
What was he supposed to do? They won.
Huh? Why he didn't stay in his time?
He wanted to go to his woman, how? He wanted a happy ending. That's his happy ending. Go back to my timeline that I essentially missed.
And then he rewatched all the events happen again so that he can end up on the bench again with
It's not even that. It's just like, no, I went back and I lived my life and I knew that you guys were going to
and he saw New York get trashed.
Wait, would he have? Wait, would it have?
On the news he would have. Yes. If he lived
So now wait,
his life
the
as a whole
question,
man.
the question though is, he would have done that if he actually pose a very good question, right? Because this is where now the timeline things come in.
If he went back, I hate temporal movies and series for the same reason.
Because like, if he went back,
he
feels
felt
bad. Exactly. So he came back. The question is now, was he still involved as per the movies, or did he live a quiet life? Because if he went and lived a quiet life, then he wouldn't have had any influence or whatever else that came afterwards. There wouldn't have been a Red Skull trigger. There wouldn't have been a Loki trigger potentially. There wouldn't have been an Ultron trigger potentially that he had to get involved in.
I'm with you.
He would have just lived on, and the guys would have had to figure it out. So
yeah,
that whole thing of him not being in that equation could have meant multiple bajillions of possibilities of outcomes.
Malicious, but let's cut a long story short. When Steve Rogers saw a gap, he went back 70 years for that cooch.
What else was he supposed to do? He's gonna stick around here.
He's timing it that new age cooch, bro. What are you saying? What are you saying?
Bro, okay, wait.
What are you saying?
What I'm saying is, you're saying the same thing. He got frozen in the 70s or 60s, whatever the case is. He ended up in the new millennium, right? His thinking, his understanding, everything is still there. Mm-hmm. He just went along for the ride because things were happening now. Now that those things are happening, he wants to go back to where he's comfortable, where he's familiar, where his woman's is, so that he can go and enjoy the life that he had only just got a taste of. With Peggy, he only just got a taste of it. Who would not want to be like, nah, bruh, that's my girl. I'm taking the opportunity to go live out a nice life. We're gonna have a nice life with Nandi Shap.
And that is your leader. And
he did his job.
And that is your leader of the Avengers.
His job.
And left Morgan without her father for the rest of her life.
That wasn't Cap's choice.
He could have stayed. He could have taught Morgan some shit.
Hey, Morgan.
How?
I'm your new daddy.
Bro, on some.
But he wants to go make his own children.
If he is such the integrity-driven hero that he is.
Yeah. Morgan has a support system.
Steve Rogers should have seen that, you know what? I was wrong. Back on the helicarrier.
What was he wrong for? What was he wrong for?
That's what I'm getting to. I'm getting to that.
Yeah.
So Steve Rogers should have been like, you know what? I was wrong for saying that Tony Stark isn't the guy to make the difficult calls. He did make the difficult call. At the end of it all, he made the difficult call. Now let me also, as Steve Rogers, Captain America, make the difficult call. Stay in this time, protect Stark's family or whatever, and just be here for the team.
Why would the family need protection? There's a whole bunch of Avengers around them. She's got a support system. Everyone.
Morgan needs a male figure.
Bruce. Thor. Who else was there?
But they all went off in
Rhodey.
Look at what happened in She-Hulk.
How many males are there?
Hulk went into something else.
Plenty male figures.
Hulk went into something else. The Rhodey is gonna turn out to be a Skrull in Secret Invasion. Who else? Who else is there? Thor went back to Asgard. No, Thor had his own thing in Love and Thunder. Yeah. Which other males are there? Tom Holland was also going through his nonsense. But everybody had to split.
They were there.
The best surrogate dad at that time should have actually been Steve Rogers.
No.
Happy was more of that funny uncle.
Fine. Then there's a father figure. They would have looked after her until she could
he's a funny uncle. He's not a father figure.
But plenty of people have uncles that turn out to be father figures.
I'm an example of
it's a 5-year-old. 5-year-old Morgan. Obviously, you're gonna be the funny uncle, but as she grows up, she's got.
I just feel Steve Rogers made a selfish decision.
Why not? Do you blame him? Why not? I also would like to go back.
Nah, dog.
If I was like, I've done my job here, the universe is safe, yay, guys, I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna holler at you. Like, if you need me at that time, send me a page or something. Send a pigeon.
Nah, dog. I ain't get
Okay, that's your closing argument. Sharp.
Yes. Oh, yeah, that was my closing argument. What's your closing argument?
Ladies and gentlemen, if you would please entertain me.
Hey, please don't.
It's all in the name. Like, it's not that serious. It's literally his name is Captain America. He's the captain. He is the leader. As you pointed out yourself, I almost said managed. He led the Howling Commandos, right? Mm-hmm. For me, in every single Avengers movie, every single movie that he's appeared on, he's always been that central guy who's able to bring everyone together and say, okay, guys, this is the mission. I need you guys to stay focused. You need to do that, focus, sharp, great. Mm-hmm. He's always the first person to take up a challenge when things happen. In Infinity War, when Thanos walked through the portal, who was the first person to go up against him? Captain America, right? Exactly. In Endgame, for an example, don't worry about this guy. In Endgame, for an example, it was him, Thor, Tony that they were there.
Endgame. In the
beginning, before portals started popping up.
Yeah.
He was the guy who was keeping going. Even Thor wasn't keeping up with what's going on. You know why? Because that man leaves with integrity and determination and what. He's like, guys, out of everyone that's here, you can do this all day. Pause.
No, sorry, yeah. Then, closing argument, sorry, my mistake. Yes.
And please, I encourage every single one of you, including you, Carl. I've told you this before.
Yeah.
All of you, I encourage you. I can't remember the exact minute and seconds, but please watch Age of Ultron because there's a beautiful short little clip there.
I recently watched Age of Ultron. Which one are you referring to?
There's a clip on there. I'm pretty sure it's Age of Ultron. I'm pretty sure.
Run the scene.
So they are. It's Captain America. It's Iron Man. I think Full was there, if I'm not mistaken, and Pepper might have been there. And there's one line that Tony Stark says, because they try to give him something, and he's like, "Nope, I don't run the place." Points to Steve Rogers, like, he runs the things. I just pay for everything.
Yeah, that
right there.
Yeah.
Even Tony Stark himself, in that time, before we even got to the thing, he acknowledges the fact that Captain America is the leader of the team. He is just the money. Yes, he comes with all the other skills as well, strategically and wada. But at the end of the day,
sorry, it's a closing argument.
Steve Rogers is the captain based on his actions. You do.
I don't agree with you.
You do. Okay.
I don't agree with you.
Okay.
The reason why I'm just trying to respect the sanctity of the closing argument. That's why I'm not saying anything.
Okay, fine. Okay. The qualities, we read through some of them. Checks out, Captain, most of them. I mean, we can do a running Shandy stay with tick. Then he himself, from a strategic what, he's always the guy who's pointing fingers and saying, hey, you go there, do this, that. He's that guy. Thirdly, the man never gives up. He's like, to be a leader, you must set an example. Captain America has always set an example in any situation that he's been in. He's always been the guy in there first. He's always the last guy out. He's always making sure that we're protecting people and all that stuff like that. He is that guy from the start to the beginning. And that's why I'm saying, even to your point where he went back to his timeline, he played his part. He led the team to victory. Yes, Tony Stark was the one to make the ultimate sacrifice. But
as a leader,
how should we get there?
As a leader should. As a leader should.
It wasn't him. It was Doctor Strange. He was like, Machom, how it's going to work out is because of you.
Okay, my friend.
Not.
Okay, my friend.
Not that it's.
Okay, my friend. If that's the case, right? If that's the case, if you feel that Steve Rogers was justified in him going back to what he had, then why didn't then Doctor Strange feel that since Steve Rogers is such the leader that it's shown to be,
it wasn't for. Listen,
why didn't Doctor Strange give Steve Rogers that option?
Because Doctor Strange doesn't make the future. He just reads the future. I'm sure out of his 14 million and whatever possibilities, I'm sure there's a few scenarios, not even a few, quite a lot of scenarios where Captain America was there and maybe he failed. And that one possibility was the one where Tony was the one who made the sacrifice. It's not like Doctor Strange was the one who said, oh, okay, cool, I'm going to use my...
Because I'm telling you.
Tony.
Because I'm telling
Tony,
you.
I don't like you. You're gonna
I'm telling you that.
It wasn't Doctor Strange making. It was the universe telling him, like, listen.
You know why?
You know why? This guy needs to do it.
I tell you why? Because let me set the scene for you, right? Let me set the scene now, right? So just get back into that whole what is it, Endgame? Get back into that Endgame scene, right? Are you there? Are you there now?
Which
right.
Scene?
The scene
Specifically.
where Tony's like, right, it's clear, check here now. We all here. You better be right on what you called. Talking to Doctor Strange, right? Tony talking to Doctor Strange, right?
Yeah. That'll be hilarious if the one. Sorry, the way you're saying it, I'm like.
So imagine Tony's like, check here now, Strange. We all here now. What's the story? You told me that if A, B, C, D happens, we're gonna beat Thanos.
Yeah.
What's the story? What we doing? Okay. Strange said to him, I can't tune you the whole story. Because if I tune you the whole story, it's a spoiler.
Yeah.
So I can't tune you the whole story. But I'm gonna give you a thing that I'm gonna flight you, I'm gonna hit you the then you must know it's on site. Right. And Tony just said, bet I got you. So the point that I'm trying to make.
Hey, what the Oh, hey guys, this is
sorry. It's a call. Stuff happens.
Exactly.
Now what I'm asking you is, right, do you think that Steve Rogers would be as accepting of whatever needed to happen?
Yes.
That happened.
Absolutely.
No.
Absolutely.
No.
Steve.
If that's the case,
Rogers,
if
Steve Rogers was given that message, I can guarantee he wouldn't have hesitated. If you look at that final scene where Doctor Strange was like, "This is it," Tony was like, oh, "Shit, I guess it's me then." Whereas if Captain Rogers got the same signal, I'd say Captain would mean like, "Gotcha."
Oh no. Oh, sorry. Remember now, the ultimate play was that if you do this, you're gonna die. Do you not think that Steve Rogers, like I said, would have tried to save himself, tried to save everybody? Because at the end of the day, Steve Rogers ultimately wanted to go 70 years into the past.
Here's the thing.
He wouldn't have made that play.
The ultimate goal here is to save everyone. If it meant
because
he had to die, he will die.
Because isn't in his resilience
resiliency.
Even in his resiliency, he would have tried to make sure that everybody lives, so that he can go back home or live his life or whatever.
But if it means that,
which is a realistic goal,
if he had to do the snap and that saved everyone, he would have taken that. He would have done it. But the going home was a bonus. The going home was like, it was just a result of see, I've got my point. But the point is that ultimately the whole goal was to A, save everyone, bring everyone back, B, destroy Thanos. The going back home to the 60s or 70s was a bonus. And I was just like, hey, the opportunity is there. We've got the Infinity Stones. I can take it back and put it back where it belongs. And I'm just gonna. Oh, he actually didn't even say that he's staying there. He just went and returned the things and he just fucked easy. Remember? Because they were like,
he didn't say he's coming back.
Where's Kevin? Where's Kevin?
He
didn't say he's coming back.
He didn't say
he just got there, I'm sure, and he was like, hey, Piggy, and
there was one more point I wanted to make. Life.
Yeah, he got there and he was like, hey, like, what's happening? Let's pick up where we left off. And then he was just like, hey, I'm not gonna leave you no more.
I still say no.
Yeah, it's fine. You know what?
I say I lean more towards co-captaincy. That's my answer. Co-captaincy.
But the question is, who is one?
Tony Stark.
Captain America.
Tony Stark by a full suit. Tony Stark by a suit. A full suit. Oh, sorry. What? A high-tech prosthesis. Tony Stark by a full high-tech prosthesis. Exactly. Yeah.
Captain America, the Shield. He's the guy, the person who everyone looks up to.
He's got a shield.
Exactly. He does. What does that shield do? It does everything. He can parachute with that thing. It throws it like a frisbee. It bounces things off. He uses as a shield. The most obvious one, yes.
Tony Stark is smart, has the resources, makes those killer plays when they absolutely need it.
Which ones? You can't tell me that the only two people that could fly, the one was occupied, and this one he's gonna go put a bomb up. And then, okay, Age of Ultron. Okay, wait. Civil War.
Civil War was more of a tie.
They moved each other, but that was a big bad. That's when
they were each other's big bad. If you think, depending on which side you took, they were each other's big bad. Yeah. They were each other's big bad.
Okay, Infinity War. Tony failed.
No, Tony didn't fail. Tony didn't fail in Infinity War. Don't get it twisted. He didn't fail. He managed to get to the I think it was Titan.
Yeah.
Titan, the moon. Hey, shout out to my boy Titan. He managed to get there, and then it was actually Star-Lord who broke that chokehold that they had him on. So Tony didn't fail. If anything, don't do that. I hate when you do that shit. I hate that shit.
I'm just in jail, yeah.
If Star-Lord didn't do that cut that he did, there wouldn't need to be no goddamn endgame. Because they had the glove off. They had it basically on Thanos' fingertips. There would need to be no endgame. Because they would have gotten it, restrained Thanos somehow, some way without the stones, and then after the fact, disposed of the stone somehow, some way.
Yeah.
With Tony Stark's genius and technology. And where was Cap gonna be? Boxing in Chuck Taylors at the gym.
I'm gonna rein this in now. Anyway.
No, we made closing statements. This is where I stand. I just need the folks at home to realize that Tony Stark was the leader. 100%. And I mean, if you want to say they were co-captains, that's fine as well, because that's the narrative.
Yeah,
because
hundreds. But
if you think about it, they are two halves of a perfect whole. Because Tony Stark brings tradition. I mean, Steve Rogers brings tradition, that old school strategy,
leadership.
I didn't say leadership. Tony Stark brings innovation. He brings innovation, strategy. Yes, he has resources. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna. It's what we know him for from episode. I mean, from Iron Man 1. That's what we know him for. His resources. But even with his resources, he still had a better character development than Steve Rogers, right? He made that ultimate play again.
Does not qualify him as a leader, but carry on.
But leaders always have to make the difficult plays. We're gonna go in circles about this.
They can make the difficult decisions, 100%, but those difficult decisions don't necessarily have to fall on them.
Kind of valid, but how much more is it to make the difficult decision and do the difficult play?
Can I get extra bounty points for that? Can I get extra bounty points for that?
Hey, but facts is facts, and that's what happened, my dog.
Hey,
we're starting to ramble.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the long and short of it is, we need you guys to participate in the comments.
You guys will be the split decision.
And you guys need to tell us who you think the real captain of the Avengers is. Then part 2.
That's gaslighting. Why would you say who the real captain? Why you don't say leader? Why you don't say leader? Why are you saying captain of the thing?
Who's the real leader?
Nah.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Who's the real leader of the captain?
Who's the real leader? Who is the real iron person of the group with stability and stuff? Iron, Stark. I don't know, bro. I'm just trying to drop words because you just gaslight the people. You said who's
the person who runs the thing?
Captain.
Because that's the leader.
Emphasize captain.
Fine.
That's
Who is?
Who's the leader of the Avengers?
English is not Englishing. Leader of the things? Pocket in the comment. I'm looking forward to it getting heated because leader. I'm sorry.
Leader.
That just came out. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I do apologize. Who is the leader?
So let us know, my friend.
Please, in the comments.
Oh, yeah. Folks at home, that was another episode of Jou Ma Se Podcast.
Jou Ma Se Podcast. Don't forget
it by T and your boy Kyle.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, put it on WhatsApp, on X, Twitter, Instagrams,
TikTok. We're on TikTok.
Yeah, we're on TikTok, all of that. Please, if you're seeing this video on any one of those channels, and we're also on Spotify as well, let's not forget that.
Yes. Show your boys some love, man. We want to hear from you guys.
Subscribe.
So, yeah.
And there's still Fantastic Four as well.
And there's still Fantastic Four. There's still Superman coming out.
It's going to be so much fun.
Bro, we actually got like a crazy, the second quarter is crazy. I like to wait until everything simmers. You know, like when you make like a curry on a hot day, you check. No, sorry, on a cold day. Like a curry on a cold day, you check. You must wait for the potatoes to get soft, you check.
And then you know it's hundreds.
One
episode that we said we're going to record is around Invincible. So very excited to have a chat around Invincible. So
yeah,
if you haven't watched it,
an Invincible chat.
Go have a check on Prime. If you don't have Prime, better cop that subscription. Yeah. Watch it. Very much amazing. Tailored for us.
Sites you know as well.
I don't encourage those things.
I don't know them.
They're gonna.
I didn't. You didn't see me go. Oh, don't
go
try
to
this site.
www.
Or don't try that site. I didn't do that. You know. So yeah.
If you can find it,
find it, stream it, watch it. It's absolutely amazing.
It really is great.
3 seasons are out now. Yeah. There's going to be about 6 seasons.
It's for us grown boys.
It's just dope.
Yeah,
it's just dope.
Just don't. If you have kids that like superhero stuff, don't let them watch it. It's not that kind of animated thing.
But it's awesome.
It's very nice.
Away.
Okay. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate you. Like, share, subscribe, comments, send it to your ma. All of that.
Tell the boys what you want us to review next or talk about next, and we'll sort you out.
Hundreds.
Away. Safe.